Barriers and strategies and in communication. In the previous chapter, we learned what communication is, okay, how process happens, and touch on the modules used in communication. Okay, we have learned that certain factors can impede effective communication. In this lesson, we will discuss the various barriers we can encounter in communication. But before that, let's have first our objectives. Okay, at the end of this lesson or module, you will be able to identify reasons for communication breakdown. Second, classify examples of these barriers. And third, be able to use the strategies taught to communicate across cultural and avoid communication breakdown. What is effective communication? Effective communication happens when the receiver does not only get the message, but he or she must truly understand it. Okay, effective communicating with oneself or another can be hindered because of communication barriers. Okay, these barriers are not permanent and can be dealt with accordingly. Okay, to be able to provide a solution, we must first learn to identify these barriers. Okay, the first barriers is the language barriers. Okay, language barriers. Language is, or English is not our native language. Okay, we are called second language learners. Okay, as a second language learners, there will be times when misinterpretation happens. Guess this may be caused using terminologies or nuances that are not familiar to us. Okay, creating confusion sometimes between the sender and receiver or the message. Okay, keep in mind that misinterpretation can also happen even if we use our native tongue. Again, terms or jargon use may be the root of these issues. Okay, when we say language barriers, heto yung language na ginagamit natin sa pakikipagkomunikasyon. Okay? Pakikipag-interact from other people. So, cost din siya. Yung pag-iiba-iba ng language. Just for example, Korean, Thai, what else? Japanese. So, that are examples of language. So, that can affect or that have barriers also when it comes to effective communication. Though sometimes sa Filipino din minsan 'di ba kapag yung maling gamit natin ng language, minsan nami-misinterpret nila tayo. So isang factors din 'yon kung bakit nagkakaroon ng hadlang sa effective communication. Okay, second, the psychological barriers. Okay, psychological state of mind can be also hindrance to the communication process. Okay, an example can be when someone is stressed. Okay, when someone is stressed, he or she can easily irritated and may snap at the people they talk to. Okay, the combination of the nonverbal and verbal cues may not complement each other, which in turn result to a miscommunication. Okay, another example of this can be when you fear your teacher. Kapag nagagalit kayo, kung may takot kayo sa teacher ninyo. Sometimes teachers tell jokes, okay? Sometimes teacher tell jokes. Minsan hindi natin nagiging seryoso sa atin, pero para sa kanila jokes kasi yun yung pagkakakilala natin sa kanila. Stricto, okay? Pagiging stricto ni teacher. So minsan yung pagiging stricto niya nagfo-form siya ng takot sa atin kaysa mga estudyante. So once na nakapag-joke si teacher, so possible na hindi matawa si students, okay? Hindi niya tawag dito, hindi niya ma-absorb yung jokes na meron na ibinato ni teacher sa mga students. So yun yung psychological barriers na tinatawag. Okay, next, the physiological barriers. Okay, physiological barriers refers to the physical state of a person. So, a receiver who is legally blind, just for example, a person who, or a receiver who is legally blind may not clear grasp the whole picture of the conversation because he is disadvantaged with a disability that hinders from reading nonverbal cues coming from the speaker. Okay, another example, someone who is partially suffering from tinnitus can have a hard time to understand spoken communication because of ringing in his ears. So yung mga physical disabilities, just for example, yung mga bulag, okay, minsan nagkakaroon ng misinterpretation when it comes to, kapag gumagamit tayo ng mga salita na hindi nila nakikita. Okay, yung mga pipe, yung mga bingi. So, nakakaapekto din yon sa pagkakaroon ng effective communications. Next, the physical barriers. Okay, physical barriers can include geographical distance, although calls made through Facebook and Skype can help bridge communication between continents. There are nonverbal cues that cannot be read because of the context of the communication. Okay, example, a person sickness that is mother will not worry can get away with this because his mom will not be able to assess the physical state and body language of her son just from online calls. For example, ayan na nga, sinabi ko kanina, pag magkalayo kayo ng inyong mga parents, kung si parents nyo nasa Manila and kayo ay nasa province. So, pag nagkumustahan kayo and then pag sinabi nyo na may sakit kayo, hindi nila mararamdaman yun. Kumbaga magkakaroon ng ibang kahulugan. Meaning to say, kapag may sakit kayo, sabihin nyo lang, may sakit ako. Masakit ang ulo ko, nilalagnat ako, and then ang i-recommend lang sa inyo ni parents is uminom ng gamot. Ayan. So, hindi nila kayo mahawakan physically. So, hindi nila malalaman yung totoong nangyayari sa inyo. So, mahalaga yung physical barriers din. So, sometimes, sa online platform, nagkakaroon ng misinformation na tinatawag or misinterpretation din. Okay? Okay, next, the systematic or systemic barriers. Okay, systematic or systemic barriers. Okay, these barriers refers to hindrances in the structure and organization where there is inefficient or lack of appropriate information. Okay, what else? Example of this, example can be an email coming from a big boss of a business unit of a multinational company. Okay, a notification regarding an issue suddenly appeared and she emailed all the teams under the supervision. She asked the status of a certain database, but did not specify which team is responsible in giving the feedback. Instead of solving the problems that instant, it took her whole team one day and a half to resolve the issue. Okay, nobody replied to her email because nobody was sure which team is supposed to handle that certain project. Okay, meaning to say systematic or systemic barriers. Just for example, nakapag-work na kayo Okay, nakapag-work na kayo sa mga companies and then nag-email yung boss ninyo. Okay? Then meron kayong tawag dito, meron kayong mga grupo like HR team, okay, encoding team, may mga department kayo. And then in-emailed ni boss sa inyo lahat yung letter regarding doon sa particular na issue. And then naghahanap si boss ng reply coming from you. So dahil hindi naka-indicate yung kung sinong team or department yung sasagot ninyo, walang sasagot kasi nga hindi naka-indicate doon kung anong department siya. So sa systemic or systematic, yun din. Ito din, barriers din to kung bakit nagkakaroon ng effective communication or ineffective communication. Okay? Once na nakapag-work na kayo, maging mabusisi kayo pagdating sa gagawin ninyong letter sa pag-i-email. Kay kanino yung email? Kay para kanino yung email? Para sa inyong email? Para uh, once na gusto niyo ng kasagutan doon sa email niyo, merong sasagot sa inyo kasi alam ng department na para sa kanila yung email na yun. Okay? Next, the attitudinal barriers. Okay, the attitudinal barriers. Okay, conflict from these barriers arises because of poor management, lack of motivation, resistance, or internal interpersonal conflicts. Okay, the attitude of the receiver significantly affects how she or he understand the message. For example, okay, an example can be being in a team with a classmate who you think is annoying. Okay, communicating with her may become difficult because there is a high possibility that anything she or he says to you can be understood in the wrong way. Okay, your preconceived notion or her traits in the message she sends or he sends to you. Okay? Minsan yung galit, yung attitude from the root word attitude. Okay, attitudinal barriers. Sometimes, ayan, kapag naglalaro tayo, di ba? Minsan may mga pikon, ayan, may mga attitude na ganyan na hindi matanggap yung pagkatalo. Minsan, pag sinasabihan natin sila ng mga inspirational words regarding sa pagkatalo, minsan minamasama nila. So, sometimes nagiging barriers yon sa ineffective communication. Okay? Nagkakaroon ng misinterpretation, misunderstood. Okay? Okay, let's move on to the strategies and communication. Earlier, the barriers in communication. Now, the strategies and communication. Okay, strategies in communication. In any problem, hundreds of solutions can be used to resolve it. Now that you have familiarized yourself with the different communication barriers, it is best to apply the following strategies to be able to cope with the miscommunication or difficulty in communicating at best, or to eliminate or avoid these barriers. So, heto naman yung strategies natin para ma-avoid yung barriers in effective communication. Okay, first, practice active listening. Okay, when listening to someone talk, clearly your mind or clear your mind and focus on the speaker. Okay, during this moment, do not think of other things you need to do or think of another topic or person. Okay, aside from listening to the message, teach yourself to identify different tones or deliver styles so that you would be able to experience a richer communication exchange. Okay, practice active listening. Number two, pay attention to non-verbal cues. Okay, non-verbal cues give more meaning to a message. Okay, body language, facial tricks, and changes in pitch when speaking depends the communication experience. Okay, always keep in mind that diverse cultures can be different in spoken language as well nonverbal communication. Always take the initiative to study or learn more about the person or group you are interacting with. Okay. Next, keep your emotions at bay. Okay, communication is irreversible. If you remembered about communication is irreversible during first week or second week of our discussion. Okay, communication is irreversible. Whatever you say or write at the height of anger, fear, sadness, or happiness cannot be taken back. Okay, always keep your emotion at bay when communicating. So kapag nakikipag-communicate tayo, lagi wag natin pangungunahan ng emosyon. Okay? As much as possible, try to retain control when your emotions are high. So minsan, di ba, nagkakaroon ng misinterpretation dahil pinangungunahan tayo ng emosyon ng galit. So, as much as possible, try to retain control when your emotions are high. Okay, the result can be frustrating if we let our emotion take control of what we say, how we act, and how we perceive or listen to others. Okay, relax and maintain your composure. Okay, countless instances have been featured on television where someone said something or acted. Okay, keep your emotions at bay. And lastly, number 4, assert yourself. Okay? Assert yourself means you stand up for your thoughts. So marunong tayong manindigan doon sa ating binitawang mga salita. Okay, stand up for your thoughts, feelings, and needs in an open and honest way that will not result to disrespecting others or appear demanding a hostile. Okay, effective communication is understanding the other person and not forcing your opinions or disregarding theirs. How can we assertive without being hostile? Okay, first, always remember that your opinion matters just like everyone else does. Okay, know yourself, determine your needs and wants, then learn to express them without stepping on the meaning the rights of others. Okay, it is okay to express your emotion as long as you remain respectful. Okay, learn how to express negative feelings in a way that will not truly offend the other person or group. And accept feedback, accept compliments, ask when you need help, and be always grateful to others in addition to learn from your mistakes. And last, know your limits. Okay, be brave enough to say no. So, wag tayong laging nagsasabi ng yes, 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 opo, yes, oo, yes. So, be brave enough to say no kapag mali na yung ginagawa or mali na yung binibitawang salita. Okay? Agreeing and saying yes all the time may result to spreading yourself too much with may affect the quality of your output or feedback. Okay, being firm and clear about what you want is beneficial for all parties as they will know where they are stand on issue. Okay, remember, assert yourself. Stand for your thoughts, feelings, needs in an open and honest way that will not result to disrespect others. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you for listening.